Ahead of the Invictus Games, the organization Help for Heroes arranged a surprise Zoom meeting with none other than your favorite Ginger Prince. But things did not go as planned, as you're about to find out. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. First of all, an important statement. I do not condone any kind of unfounded attack or blind criticism upon the Invictus Games or Help for Heroes or any person that has, at any point of their lives, stood for their country as a combatant. These events are to bring awareness to veterans and their families. It's great that such initiatives exist because it can do wonders for the mental health of these heroic men and women. So I cannot understand how there are people that leave comments on this kind of videos and promos of this event that constitute a verbal aggression for the event and the people themselves. So much that Help for Heroes Twitter account had to remind everyone that they will not accept offensive, trolling comments aimed at their team. And I agree, they are doing their best to do the right thing. But yes, the problem is Harry, and in the case of the Invictus Games, they will not be able to change the fact that he was their founder. But in this case, Help for Heroes is an organization to support the veterans of the British Armed Forces. So it would not be a surprise that they decided to make a Zoom call with, well, none other than the founder of the Invictus Games. This is just common sense, and I understand that it's frustrating because common sense is something that Gingerbread seriously lacks, and you know very well all the consequences of that deficiency, to the point that there are no shortage of chaps on the internet that are more than ready to tell Harry where he can stick his words in the most vernacular way. And that must be the reason why this video on Help for Heroes YouTube channel was unlisted. It means that if you visit their homepage, you are not gonna find that video. If you search for it on YouTube or Google or anywhere, it is not gonna appear. There's no way to find or watch this video unless you have the direct link that they publish on their Twitter account. And that is very telling for a very simple reason. I'm sure that it was an idea of the Harkles to go and have some visibility by having a Zoom call with these veterans. We know that Harry is going to be at the Invictus Games, so this is a great opportunity to test the waters and measure how's the public opinion doing. What's interesting is that this video was unlisted from the start and comments closed on YouTube so nobody could give an opinion about it. And the reason they did this is because in case of a true fallout, they could just delete the post on Twitter and that was it. Nobody would be able to find this video ever again. This is a bit technical, and it's about how YouTube and Twitter work. But in the case of YouTube, the video would have been discoverable and even could be pushed by the algorithm on its own. So leaving it unlisted was a way to prevent that. Which makes you wonder if this is such a nice surprise. If all the athletes were there truly enjoying the moment, then why hide it from search? Why prevent people from finding it? So Harry is basically testing the waters to see how it's gonna be when he finally arrives at The Hague for the games next week. Spoiler alert, it's gonna be just like that Meghan pick. And by the way, Meghan is gonna be there with him, which makes it all the more strange that in the Spotify podcast, Harry is nowhere to be found. But in the Invictus Games, Nutmeg is gonna be joining Has? Well, that's normal, I guess. But then everyone has the same question. What was the difference from attending the Invictus Games from attending Prince Philip's Memorial? All this nonsense about feeling in danger while in the UK. And that must be one of the reasons behind some of the reactions during that Zoom call. Because there were a lot of funny reactions in there, but since the video itself was unlisted, I'm not going to show their faces. They have the right to their privacy. You know, a privacy that has nothing to do with the Harkles concept of being private. But if we focus on Harry, that's when we notice the same thing that I have pointed out many times before. If this is a special occasion or a special surprise or whatever you want to call it, can you tell me why in the name of all that is sacred you still don't have a decent camera? And yes, having a good camera is important because that is a non-verbal signal that you're invested in the bridge of communication. Okay, maybe someone cannot afford a good camera, that's one thing. But at the very least, you make sure to look your best because that is a message that you'll be sending to the person on the other side of the line. Again, it's like you're going to meet a person over a Zoom call and they are untidy or the background is a mess. Maybe you cannot control the quality of the connection, but you can control everything else, and that is going to affect the way people perceive you. You decide if that's going to be for good or for bad. And I've suggested over and over again that Harry should present himself in a better way. And I know you watch my videos, Harry. I am the eye in the sky, looking at you. I can read your mind. But you can be sure that the Netflix cameras are more than ready to follow them all the way to the Netherlands, pretty much like an underpaid intern following a wannabe TikTok influencer. Let's try to get over the fact that this angle is really awful for any human being. Please always make sure that you have your camera at eye level. As you can see, Harry has a very bad posture because his camera is too low. He's using the one on his laptop, I guess. But he could have made a tower with the bench copies, just like Megan did for that 40x40 video. But what is really cringe is how Harry is trying too hard, way too hard to be nice. Just hear the perfect example of a forced laughter. Freak. He had one job. He just had to talk to them, I don't know, like 10 minutes or so. How hard can it be? It's obvious that this was not the whole Zoom call because it's heavily edited to fit in under 5 minutes, and that must be the reason it sometimes sounds like there's a laugh track. But man, couldn't he possibly make sure to not have any sandwich leftovers on his teeth before the call? As in this moment when he reaches for that elusive lettuce right before almost covering half his face with his hand. Talk about being prepared. And someone has to tell him, you don't have to force being funny if you're not funny, because you will commit impasses like trying to compliment the captain of the team, saying that she must be doing a good job, or in his own words, so far it seems that you're doing well by the fact that you're all sitting down. The big problem is the guy that is right at the front of the room on a wheelchair. So the joke was not good and it landed pretty bad, and okay, maybe they did not pay much attention to it, so whatever. But let this be a warning for you. Forcing being funny is much, much worse than not being funny at all. Now we know what can we expect at The Hague. If you want to refine your observation skills, all you have to do is download my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas and it will always be a pleasure, my body language buddies. Much love and bliss.